I read a lot of books. I actually buy more books than I can read. And
Okay.
what I love about your books is that you use India specific examples,
Correct. Yes.
which is, and in startup, in venture, most of the books are coming from the valley or
Correct.
established
Correct.
writers. And then you also give very India specific examples.
Yeah.
You talk about Bharat,
Correct.
how that's going to emerge, right? So I wanted to check from you, what do you think are the challenges um, which founders in tier 2 is even bigger, let's say even tier 3 and even rural India now, that's where that's all next wave of growth is going to come from.
Yeah.
Just day before yesterday, we did an event in Jaipur with about 15 founders. I was there sitting with them and understanding from them what are their needs. Um, how do you think this unique set of opportunities which exist for founders in rural, tier 3 and rural, and then what are the challenges for them at this point?
Okay. So first of all, I think you're absolutely right. The next wave of growth is in Bharat, not in India, because the opportunities are just huge. You look at healthcare, there is so much to be done. You look at education, there is so much to be done, right? You look at agriculture, there is so much, and it's untouched. On top of that, the opportunity is that digital has reached the smallest village. I was in a Chotu village in Himachal about 6 months back, and there was a shopkeeper. I bought मूंगफली from him, 30 रुपया. So I had a 100 rupee note. I gave it to him. सर आपके पास यूपीआई नहीं है? छोटा सा गांव. So then I felt a little embarrassed. I said, यार बताओ. Signal बढ़िया था. He brought out his QR code. I scanned it. I paid 30 rupees. Right? So I think the wonderful thing is there is so much gap that can be done, and I'll share with you an example. And two is the infrastructure is now coming up.
Yes.
So digital India is, I think it's a phenomenal story, absolutely phenomenal story. People who are, UPI, even Paytm, when it started off, Paytm karo to yaar sab karte hain. So I'll share with you one simple example. One of the companies which we have invested in, I have also personally invested in, it is called Agrix.
Okay.
AGRIX. It doesn't exist in any of these books. Maybe in a future book. उनका मॉडल क्या है? बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग मॉडल है. There are 3 guys who come from a rural background, rural Bihar. ठीक है? And so they come from a farming background, families, farmers. But these guys have spent some time in the city, in Delhi. They were very interested in the urban company model. Because urban company में आप घर में ब्यूटिशियन भेजोगे सर्विस के लिए, और यू विल प्रोवाइड प्लम्बिंग सर्विसेज, और यू विल प्रोवाइड कार्पेंट्री और इलेक्ट्रिकल और व्हाटएवर दीस काइंड्स ऑफ सर्विसेज. दे सेड हमको गांव में कुछ करना है, बट गांव में प्लम्बर तो चाहिए नहीं, क्योंकि यार पानी तो कुएं से आता है, कौन सा क्या करेगा प्लम्बर, राइट? सिमिलरली इलेक्ट्रिशियन क्या करेगा, 4-5 बल्ब 1-2 पंखे होंगे शायद, राइट? तो क्या चाहिए उनको? ही रियलाइज गांव में जो छोटा किसान है ना, स्मॉल एंड मार्जिनल फार्मर, वो सब कुछ मैनुअली करता है, एंड देयरफॉर हिज प्रोसेसेस आर वेरी इनएफिशिएंट. सो जब खेत में उसने फसल बोनी है, व्हेन ही हैज टू प्लांट हिज क्रॉप, द एंटायर थिंग इज डन मैनुअली. मे बी उसके पास हल है, बैल है, बट जो छोटा किसान है उसके पास तो वो भी नहीं है. वो क्या करेगा? अपने आप खुद गैंती लेके, फावड़ा लेके खोदेगा. ठीक है? इट विल टेक अ लॉन्ग टाइम, लॉट ऑफ एफर्ट. सिमिलरली हार्वेस्टिंग के टाइम खुद करेगा. ये कहता है यार मैं आपको ट्रैक्टर सर्विसेज दूंगा, लाइक अर्बन कंपनी. आपको बीज बोने हैं, ठीक है, यू नीड हाफ अ डे, आधा दिन के लिए मेरा ट्रैक्टर बुक करो. आई विल सेंड अ ट्रैक्टर, I will send a person who operates the tractor and he will do it for you. Right? और वो ट्रैक्टर कहाँ से आता है? जो रिच किसान हैं who own tractors, but utilization is only 20% or 30%, वो 70% ये प्रोवाइड करते हैं, and he gives them a cut. right? Similarly, harvesters. So this guy has been able to transform. I think right now he's in some 6 districts of Bihar, and I think he has covered some. I may be wrong, but some 15,000 acres of land. अब देखो बॉस, जो गरीब किसान है, छोटा किसान है, उसके लिए कितना फायदा है, and nobody has even thought of it. And this guy is now expanding rapidly into the rest of Bihar. And by the way, Bihar is probably the most backward of our, one of the most backward states we have.
Yes.
वहां पे ये हो रहा है, internet based हो रहा है. You can book your tractor or whatever. And now he says, I do provide other services. You can buy seeds from me. You can buy this thing, fertilizer from me. I will also help you market your product. ठीक है, तो एंड टू एंड सपोर्ट वेस्टर्न बिहार के गांवों में ये आदमी दे रहा है. नाउ इज एक्सपेंडिंग टू ईस्टर्न यूपी. इट्स अ ब्रिलियंट कॉन्सेप्ट. I think one big reason why it has worked, one big reason is that these guys have all come from farming families in that area. So they understand that area. Right? It is not a guy who's sitting in defense colony in Delhi. Sorry for those guys who actually live in defense colony or whatever. And say, यार मेरे को वेस्टर्न बिहार में जा भी नहीं सकता है ना. So you need to understand the problem. You need to understand the problem the farmer is facing, and you solve that problem. Again, I get back to my persistent model. Problem, are you solving for somebody? Is he willing to pay? The farmers are more than happy to pay. Right? अब ये जो चीज है, इस टाइप की अपॉर्चुनिटीज बहुत है. I have seen, for example, Dream Founder में there is that iDream company. They have taken digital education, tablet based, to absolute rural India.
Yeah.
I mean, I have been to some of their schools in the district of Rajasthan में था. I forget which district it was. बच्चों के पास बैठने को जगह नहीं थी, वो दरी पे बैठे हुए थे, कहीं कहीं टीचर भी नहीं थे, but they were very happy playing on tablets and in the process learning, or have vernacular में. So opportunity is huge. Digital India सारे में पहुंच गया, internet connectivity. अब तो यार सड़कें भी आ गई हैं. Yeah. Roads are good. So anything which has a physical component, such as, which you will require for transporting of farming produce and so on, it's there. So I think the opportunity is huge. And actually, Kulmani, if you ask me, investors are looking at such opportunities now, because they realize the size of the market and the kind of transformation you can make is just phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. हाँ, challenges हैं. Obviously, challenges हैं. For example, I'll take the example of one P2P lending company. Okay. Don't want to name the company, but in fact, I've forgotten the name. But anyway, he says, हम गांव में, we do P2P lending for multiple categories, and one of the categories we do lending for is rural. Okay. But the problem is rural में, he says, cash economy बहुत है.
Yes.
क्या करें उसके साथ? So he has found a via media where he says, हमारा एक agent वहाँ होगा, उसके साथ we will deal through, it will be through banking channels. But ultimately what he does, whether he converts that to cash or not, is his problem. तो ये इस टाइप की issues हैं आजकल. But I would say the rate at which we are going, they are all getting sorted out. All these problems are getting solved. So opportunity बहुत है, and investor is now keen on Bharat, very keen on Bharat. This Agrix which I mentioned, this was one of our biggest fundraisers, and I think he's raised 3 rounds so far.
Okay.
And doing very well.
Yeah. Just a couple of things which I want. So tractor purchase in rural India is, I think, is not only related to land holding, it's also a status symbol. If you walk around the village.
Oh, absolutely.
So people who don't have couple of acre, 1 acre or less also, sometimes they own tractor.
बस अगर पैसा नहीं हो तो कहाँ से लोगे?
So I'm assuming this Kisan credit cards, a lot of that has also changed, right? Access to credit.
Yes, that has also changed. You're right.
So up to 10 lakhs they can borrow at 4% or lower. which you can deposit once a year and renew that limit. And it's
but the chota garib kisan hai, he may not want to put in that kind of money to buy a tractor. Also, छोटे किसान के लिए एक full tractor की utilization बहुत कम होगी.
Yeah.
So इसीलिए he is much happier to lease it out through agrics.
Yeah. And whenever I'm speaking to investors, global investors, or who buy into India growth story, and when they start applying, let's say, global frameworks to India's growth model, I always tell them that it won't work in India. Because see, this kind of phenomenon where we have pulled out roughly few 100 million people out of poverty over last decade and a half, that has never happened in the history of human civilization. There is no economy. What India and China have done individually also, like taking out, let's say, combined 600 million people out of extreme poverty into now that they have enough food to eat, they can do many things in life. So that has not happened, and this is not fathomable by Western framework, because I just say Belgium की population 1.5 million 2 million. क्या होता है द्वारका में इतने लोग रहते हैं.
Correct.
So I don't know how to explain to them sometimes.
Absolutely.
But I think this push, right, what is coming from Bharat is going to add to India's economic growth.
Absolutely.
For me, India is probably globally number 2 economy, because anybody between US and India is not growing, right? So if you have countries like UK, Japan, I don't see them as sunrise economies anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not writing them off. They are important for the global economic framework, but they are not.
So I have a favorite saying: Great Britain should drop that word "great" now. सिर्फ Britain है, छोटा Britain है, ठीक है, Little Britain. They're finished now.
So, and then China, we don't know. We can't rely on the numbers.
No idea. Correct. They are big, they are huge, but you don't know. It's all.
But I think even at local level, they have a massive debt problem now.
Yeah.
And that's what people are telling me. So people are cutting down their allocation to China. And I think India is a preferred destination.
Yeah.
So this global flow of capital is also going to fuel this growth for Bharat.
Absolutely. Was the only country which is growing at 7% right from COVID times. So capital has to come here. Has to come here. And now that interest rates are going down in the US.
Yeah, after election, I think another 50 basis points or something. The cut is
depending on who comes.
Whoever comes, I think some cut will be there.
Some cut will be
there. 51%. But that will, I think, already be accounted in the expectations, right?
Yeah, that is true.
That is expectations theory.
That is true. No, the opportunity is huge here, both for founders and for investors. And I would say Bharat is a right place to be.
Yeah.